Hey everyone, welcome to today's Explainer. We are jumping right into a really fascinating convergence of ideas today. We're going to merge the profound ancient wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads with some cutting-edge concepts from quantum mechanics and neuroscience. I know that sounds like a massive undertaking, but I promise you, by the time we wrap this up, you're going to have a highly practical, surprisingly scientific manual for finding real clarity and peace in your daily life. So let's start with a feeling I think we've all experienced. You know that overwhelming probability overload where every possible choice makes your brain just completely freeze? You have a major life decision to make. Maybe it's a career pivot, a relationship crossroad, or just managing a huge project. You sit down to figure it out, and suddenly your mind is racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour, frantically visualizing 50 different ways it could all go spectacularly wrong. Your brain just gets totally trapped in this frantic web of what-ifs. To stop this mental gridlock, we're going to follow a structured roadmap today. 1. The overroad of modern life. 2. Exploring the dream state. 3. The quantum physics connection. 4. Wisdom of Chapter 18. And finally, 5. Finding peace in daily life. Let's get into it. Part 1. The overload of modern life. Okay, so modern science actually calls this mental freeze an amygdala hijack. It's triggered by uncertainty, your cortisol spikes, and your logical prefrontal cortex just entirely shuts down. Now, what's absolutely wild is that this is exactly what ancient texts describe as Arjuna's psychological collapse on the battlefield. In the very first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna faces an impossibly chaotic situation and just completely breaks down, paralyzed by the potential negative outcomes. It's not just some ancient myth, it's literally the exact neuroscience of modern decision paralysis. Moving right along to part 2, exploring the dream state. This is where it gets super interesting. The Mandukya Upanishad introduces a framework called the Avasta Traya, which outlines 3 states of consciousness. One of these is Swapna, or the dream state. Now here's the crucial thing for us trying to find peace in the modern world. The dream state isn't just about snoring in bed. It's actually a subtle layer of reality where countless potentialities exist all at once. Think about being awake at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling, stressing over a big presentation. In that exact moment, you are projecting a dozen different futures. Your boss laughing at you, the tech failing, you literally forgetting how to speak. None of it is physically real yet, but in your mind, they all coexist. Your anxious mind is trapped in Swapna, suffering through fake futures simultaneously. Which brings us to part 3, the quantum physics connection. Just like that ancient dream state full of unfixed potentials, neo-quantum physics tells us that reality, at its absolute most fundamental level, is a probabilistic wave of infinite possibilities. It's a superposition. A particle doesn't have a fixed identity or location until it's actually observed. Well, your modern life, full of doubts and struggles, operates exactly like this quantum field. The future is just a wave of pure potentiality. When we obsess over trying to force one specific reality into existence, our brains simply short-circuit. Classical physics represents the gross, or observable, waking state, what the ancients called Sthula. It's predictable, right? It's rigid. But quantum physics? That's the subtle state, or Sukshma. It perfectly parallels the dream state we were just talking about. You can't always observe the subtle quantum state directly. You actually have to rely on inference, or anumana. Just like you have to rely on inference to navigate the abstract, swirling realm of your own thoughts and potentials. So here is the major takeaway from all this. We are using the wrong toolkit for the job. When we try to apply the rigid, deterministic control of the waking state, classical physics, to the totally unpredictable, quantum-like nature of our futures, the dream state, we generate massive mental anxiety. You literally cannot force rigid control over a probabilistic wave of potential. Trying to do so is the exact root cause of your burnout. Let's move to part 4, Wisdom of Chapter 18. Now that we understand the problem as this giant quantum wave of anxiety, how do we actually fix it? This is where the synthesis of the Bhagavad Gita comes in with a massive paradigm shift. As this quote points out, the goal isn't to figure out exactly which action is going to guarantee a perfect outcome. Actually, scratch that. It's way deeper. The real goal is to liberate ourselves from the prison of our own delusions and anxiety. It shifts the entire focus from the external result right back to the internal state of the observer. Chapter 18 makes a razor-sharp distinction here that is absolutely vital if you want to excel in life while keeping your sanity. It compares sannyasa and tyaga. True renunciation isn't about running away to a cave and doing nothing. You definitely shouldn't abandon your duties or your ambitious projects. Instead, you practice Tyaga. Tyaga means doing the hard work and crushing your responsibilities, but completely letting go of your attachment to the final outcome. You act to shape the probability, sure, but you surrender the certainty. This is exactly how you interact with the dream state of your future without letting its infinite possibilities crush you. And look at verse 61 here. It paints this wild picture of beings revolving like puppets on a machine. Now, I know that might sound a bit deterministic, but honestly, it's a massive relief. Our modern ego loves to think it's the absolute CEO of the universe, responsible for controlling every tiny little variable. But realizing we are just part of a much larger, incredibly complex mechanism forces our inflated sense of doership to retire. When that exhausting need to control every outcome dies, you are instantly free from probability overload. You can just play your part beautifully without carrying the weight of the entire world on your shoulders.
Finally, part 5, finding peace in daily life.
Let's look at this through the lens of thermodynamics for a second, because a really clear picture emerges. Obsessing over 50 different futures creates a state of high mental entropy. It's basically an exhausting inner chaos that totally drains your energy. Practicing Tyaga, that detachment from results, drastically reduces this entropy. It literally stops the energy leak, restoring your cognitive flow and creating true inner harmony. Okay, so to practically collapse that quantum wave of anxiety we've been talking about, here is your everyday playbook. Step 1, examine your desires so you know exactly what's driving you. Step 2, act selflessly and do the work with extreme focus. Step 3, surrender the outcomes. Just accept that the final result is out of your direct control. And Step 4, practice mindfulness. Step back and act as the pure observer of your own thoughts, rather than getting totally swept away by them. But look, maintaining this observer state requires physical groundwork. The Gita calls this yukta ahara vihara, and it perfectly matches modern health science. You cannot achieve a calm, quantum-level detachment if your physical nervous system is entirely fried. Regulating your diet, getting proper sleep, and managing your daily activities creates the basic biological stability you need to actually put this wisdom into practice. By relinquishing your exhausting need to control the outcome, you don't lose your drive. You actually unlock true freedom. You stop fighting the infinite possibilities of the dream state, and instead, you learn to surf the quantum wave. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Look at the very next major decision you have to make today. Are you going to keep drowning in the anxiety of 100 fake futures, or are you ready to take action right now and completely let go of the results? Thanks for exploring this with me today. By relinquishing your exhausting need to control the outcome, you don't lose your drive. You actually unlock true freedom. You stop fighting the infinite possibilities of the dream state, and instead, you learn to surf the quantum wave. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Look at the very next major decision you have to make today. Are you going to keep drowning in the anxiety of 100 fake futures, or are you ready to take action right now and completely let go of the result? Thanks for exploring this with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer. By relinquishing your exhausting need to control the outcome, you don't lose your drive. You actually unlock true freedom. You stop fighting the infinite possibilities of the dream state, and instead, you learn to surf the quantum wave. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Look at the very next major decision you have to make today. Are you going to keep drowning in the anxiety of 100 fake futures, or are you ready to take action right now and completely let go of the result? Thanks for exploring this with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer. By relinquishing your exhausting need to control the outcome, you don't lose your drive. You actually unlock true freedom. You stop fighting the infinite possibilities of the dream state, and instead, you learn to surf the quantum wave. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Look at the very next major decision you have to make today. Are you going to keep drowning in the anxiety of 100 fake futures, or are you ready to take action right now and completely let go of the result? Thanks for exploring this with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer. By relinquishing your exhausting need to control the outcome, you don't lose your drive. You actually unlock true freedom. You stop fighting the infinite possibilities of the dream state, and instead, you learn to surf the quantum wave. So I'll leave you with this final thought. Look at the very next major decision you have to make today. Are you going to keep drowning in the anxiety of 100 fake futures, or are you ready to take action right now and completely let go of the result? Thanks for exploring this with me today, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.